am getting ready to plant my second batch of potatoes. These I ordered from Johnny's Seed, and they are organic potatoes. I also got these two just from a local store around here that's not organic at quite a cheaper rate actually. So I have 3 varieties that I'm going to plant. This one is Elba, we have Yukon Gold, and we have dark red Norland. And I make my little tags with what it is and then the variety on the other side. And I have this nifty little gift that was given to me by my mother-in-law, and I love to use it to make my labels. As opposed to writing on them, these labels prove to be very waterproof. They don't come off. They even run through the dishwasher on things and they don't come off. However, if I want to change my tags next year, they peel off really well. And so I can reuse these plastic tags and just make a new label for it. So what I'm going to be doing is taking these potatoes out and sitting them up in these egg cartons so they get good airflow around them. And they're going to sit out here for 2 weeks to start growing their eyes. It's called chitting, and I've never done it before, but I've done a lot of research this year, and supposedly that's the best way to start these potatoes. And I really want to get much higher yields from my potatoes this year, so I'm trying to do everything the so-called right way. Okay, I'm back now, and we have our potatoes all laid out. We have our Elba potatoes, and we have our Yukon Gold potatoes, and our dark red Norland potatoes. So these, because all the seed potatoes are pretty little, I don't expect to get very large potatoes from them. But that's okay. One thing I'm really looking forward to is new potatoes. I'm digging them fresh from the garden and eating them right away. And these, I expect to be a little bit larger, considering almost all of these sweet potatoes are a good size. So when you're laying out your potatoes, you want to look the bottom of the potato where it connected to the plant, and so you want to put that down. On these, it was really easy to find those. It's really noticeable where it connected to the plant versus where the eyes are, and the eyes are where your plant's going to grow, so you want them to be up to get the sunlight. Now some of these was a little bit harder, so this one seems to have eyes most of the way around it, but I'm pretty sure that right there might be where it connected to the plant. But if it's not, there's really no eyes on this side, so that's why I put that down so that the eyes can get as much light as they can. I also tried, even though they're pretty close together here, they've got room to get light, and I tried not to put any eyes where they're rubbing up against another potato so that they have room to start their growing process before I put them in the ground. Okay, I just thought I would show you where I place these potatoes as far as their sunlight goes. So these potatoes are sitting by a west-facing window, and the window actually has an overhang out there, so it doesn't get direct sunlight at all. But it's enough sunlight for these potatoes to start growing their eyes, and they won't get really long and spindly like potatoes would if you left them in the pantry too long and they started to grow. These will grow close to the potato with a little bit of green growth, which is what we want. So this is plenty of light for these. Okay, and then there wasn't enough room on that little table for the rest of them, so these potatoes get to sit in front of my only good south-facing window where I grow all my other plants. So these potatoes will get a little bit more sunlight, but I don't expect to see much difference in their growth because of the amount of sunlight. These don't get to sit right next to the window, they're not under grow lights, they have plants in front of them, but this will be plenty of sunlight for them. And then you can see my other plants as well that are all making as much use of this window as they can. So it's been 2 weeks since we set these out to chit. And so today we are going to slice them, get them cut up, leaving 2 to 3 eyes per piece. And then we'll let them sit over the weekend to kind of scar over the cut spots. And then we will plant them in the garden on Monday, as long as the weather cooperates with us. You can see that they have grown. They're all putting out growth. we're back and they're all cut up. I left ones that didn't have very many eyes whole. And then these had lots and lots of eyes, but I left the smaller ones whole. Supposedly your pieces should be about the size of a chicken egg when you plant them, so I've made them smaller in the past and they still grow potatoes. But my goal is to increase my yields and the size of my potatoes. So I'm changing things up this year and seeing if I get better results. So these will heal over for the next 2.5 days before we plant them in the garden. Here we are in our no-dig garden and we're getting ready to plant these potatoes. So they've been sitting and drying for a couple of days now. So they've got a good scarred spot there. It'll make it less likely for them to mold. And so we're going to plant these in the ground. So the first thing I do is I space them out how I want them. And honestly, I don't have as much space for these as I would like. So I plant them a little bit closer than maybe I need to. But I'm going to plant probably 3 in these rows, I think. And then we're just going to do that all the way around down. So I'll set them out, and then my little helpers here are excellent potato planters. So they'll come through and they'll bury them as deep as they can go. So underneath this row, we actually have cardboard. And so they will dig down with their hands until they hit the cardboard, which I just reached the cardboard. So then we'll put the potato in with the eyes pointed up, and then we just fill it in. And it's planted, and we'll do that all the way down the row. This is the Elba potatoes, and then we have another row of potatoes over there that we've planted a few already, but this is our second planting, and we'll plant the Red Norland and the Yukon Gold. So I changed my mind about spacing. I had plenty of room in this row, so we're only doing 2 next to each other instead of the 3 that I had originally thought I would need to do. And so my eldest daughter is planting this row for me. It is July 16th, 2022, and these are our potatoes. The ones on this end are the Yukon Gold, and the ones on that end are the Dark Red Norland. As you can see, I pulled a few of the Yukon Gold here, and I pulled a lot of the Norland, but I just want to show you the process of how we pull these potatoes. Okay, so you can tell your potatoes aren't going to grow anymore because they're starting to die back. This one's completely dead. There's not much for green leaves back on it. Most of them are just about there, and so it's time to pull these potatoes. You could leave them in the ground, but we risk bugs getting to them. So because it's no dig soil, I'm just going to pull them right out. And then I kind of shake the dirt off, shake the potatoes, put that to the side, and then just kind of brush off the dirt. Just a little bit. And that one little part of a potato that we planted multiplied itself. potatoes in that one little picket. I just dig around a little bit and finding the potatoes from the next plant. And the soil's getting a little bit dry, which is good because it makes the potatoes come out cleaner. But I think that is that for one potato plant.
I'm trying to catch it.
Not too bad. I think we did pretty good there. Okay, it's like 102 degrees out here and I'm roasting, but we got a pretty decent amount. We have these two of the dark red Norland, and I had already dug a whole bunch to put at the stand. And then we have all of these of Yukon Gold. So I don't know what it weighs. It's a lot of potatoes and I'm very pleased. We're gonna get them loaded up and bring them home.